They do some very interesting vegetarian dishes, dishes which are very light yet very distinctive in their flavors. So I'm hoping that we'll get Sriram to taste some of these dishes. Ginger and jeera goli soda. This is a very Bangalore tradition.
Then you make something called sanna polo. Usually how it started, what mom used to tell me is, when you have extra chutney left, like say you don't want to, you don't want to throw it. So we put extra bit of chili and a little bit of rice flour, and then there's onions, and then it goes on the tawa.
So I've stepped out for lunch with a friend. So for those of you who follow the vlogs, you know that a few months ago, I met my good friend Chef Sriram from London, who was visiting, and we spent the entire day with him. We took him around and made him taste jolada roti uta. We caught the making of the jolada roti, and then we also went to a few other places. So I think we released about 2 or 3 vlogs on this channel. I don't know if you've caught that. If you haven't caught that, I'm going to place a link in the description below. So today I'm meeting him for lunch yet again, and he requested me that he wanted to taste something traditional, vegetarian, South Indian. And so therefore I've decided that I'm taking him for a vegetarian GSB lunch. Of course, there may be 1 or 2 other non-vegetarian items on the lunch plans too, knowing me, but it's going to be largely vegetarian. So I've decided to take him to a place that we've been to earlier. You've seen it in Gourmet on the Road, and you've also caught a vlog here, which was a GSB lunch vlog, a Goud Saraswat Brahmin lunch vlog that Sriram saw, and he said he wanted to taste some of the dishes. So we are headed to the Lighthouse at R.M.V second stage here in Bengaluru. They do some very interesting vegetarian dishes, dishes which are very light yet very distinctive in their flavors. So I'm hoping that we'll get Sriram to taste some of these dishes. This is a place that I have been meaning to try out, Kentucky. It's been ages since I visited them. So for those of you not in the know, Sriram is a chef in London. He works with the Taj Group out there, and he runs a very successful restaurant for them called Quilon, amongst other things that he does there. And Quilon is, I think, the first South Indian eatery to get a Michelin star, if I'm not mistaken. So one of the things that he likes to do is, whenever he's traveling into India, is explore the cuisine, explore what's happening, and try and showcase some of that to the audience out there. And I think that's very important, because I think, and this was a conversation that we also had the last time around, you must take a look at some of my previous vlogs with him. And we were talking about the impact that food makes. You know, food really is a very underutilized soft power, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter where you come from, food connects people, food brings people together. And so when you're showcasing the food, let's say, of a region, of a country to someone from who's not exposed to it, you're actually allowing them an interesting peek into the people, into the traditions of the land. I can never ever tire of the Cubbon Park view. It's such a joy when you're driving in the middle of the city and then you have this beautiful park, this lush oasis of green. So as I was saying, the world travels through London, and therefore if you have some of our traditions that are showcased in London, I think it gives an opportunity for the entire world to see the richness that we have in Indian cuisine. So that's also my interest when I take Sriram around and showcase all these places to him, to see Indian traditions being celebrated at some of the best restaurants in the world. I've tasted those juices that you see on those hopcom stalls. They're quite tasty. I think I've tasted grape. I'm not sure if I've tasted the mango yet. For those not in the know, hopcoms is the horticultural producers cooperative or something like that out here in Bengaluru. It is based at Lalbagh, and I think all the farmers supply fruits, etc. to them, and I think part of it is sold and part of it is juiced. So whenever you come to Cubbon Park, you'll always find a couple of these stalls selling those juices. Golf course. I remember many years ago, I tried my hand at golf. I thought I should take up the sport, and I had just branched out on my own. And I went to the KGA and did a couple of practice sessions with the trainers there. I don't know what you call them, but I quickly realized that I could either start something new or play golf, because that's the kind of time that it warranted on my part, and I just didn't have that investment of time to make at that point. I think it's a great sport because you spend 2 or 3 hours, playing the game, walking, and I think it's an enjoyable way to get some exercise. So hopefully someday I'll return to golf. But I think it's gotten so difficult to get into some of these clubs now, as opposed to what it was like 20 years ago when I first made an attempt to learn golf. Well, I've arrived at the restaurant and I'm waiting for Sriram to join, but then I have a friend, Pratiksha. So what's for lunch today, Pratiksha?
Your favorite?
For those you don't know and who haven't, if you've missed Pratiksha, well, by any chance, she's a co-owner of this beautiful space called the Lighthouse. So what are we tasting today?
GSB Uta.
Okay.
GSB Javan. We want to have a lot of vegetarian today. Sanna polo, some podis. We had stopped for a while because these are all seasonal vegetables, and I'm pretty surprised that we actually found it. And we have some podis, same like last time, pagila podi and gulla bhaji. So pagil will make the koli vada.
Okay.
So that there'll be a little variation.
What is a koli vada?
Koli vada, it's a Maharashtrian cuisine.
Okay.
So why we mix all this in podi basket is so that there'll be variation in the taste.
Ah, okay. Wonderful. Ginger and jeera goli soda. This is a very Bangalore tradition, which is of course now packed very conveniently in these bottles. You find them all over actually. Let's try the ginger. Hey Sriram, how are you?
How are you?
You're in my vlog as always. How are you doing, buddy?
So good.
Good to see you. Come.
Sorry,
sit.
I got a bit.
So this is Pratiksha.
Heard a lot about me.
So when you said vegetarian uta, no?
Yeah.
So the last time I came here with a couple of doctors, and they are GSBs, goud, saraswat, brahmins. So they wanted to eat some GSB food. So Pratiksha, I've done a couple of episodes here with her, and her mum teaches their people some of the recipes. So in fact today, by a coincidence, her mom is here,
Oh, fantastic.
teaching them some recipes for something that they're doing. So we'll also be the happy, so it's a happy accident for us because we'll get to taste some of that.
Usually Mondays comes because there's less of a crowd, right? So she comes to train a few of the...
I also think the cuisine is very interesting. Right? I mean, not many people know about the GSB cuisine, and also the influences and how people migrated. Because it goes to the 16th century, isn't it? When, supposedly the river dried up and people moved and saraswat. And sometimes people say, oh, your recipes are not standardized. It can't be, because if people migrated and if you landed in Ratnagiri, how can it be same as landing somewhere close to Goa?
Correct. So you will use the produce that was available there.
Produce there. You also get influenced by local cooking, ingredients, styles, everything. So pleased you're doing things like this, but I think people need to know more about this kind of cuisine. It's a fantastic. So when he said, I just
So I gave him a couple of options, because obviously I want him to, and so he picked on this, and
I love when somebody is trying to do classic cuisines of regions.
Then you make something called sanna polo. Usually how it started, what mom used to tell me is, when you have extra chutney left, like say you don't want to throw it. So we put extra bit of chili and a little bit of rice flour, and then there's onions, and then it goes on the tawa.
So there's another dish here called patrode, which is a GSB dish.
Yeah, that's
Very common, right? So the filling that goes into the patrode, that masala that goes into that colocasia leaf as it is wrapped. So a lot of these eateries, what they do. So I went to this place called Sriram in Bangalore, very old eatery. So they do that, and also another place called Lata VEG in Kota. So if they do the patrode today, next day is Sannapollo. Because you have some of that stuffing remaining, so you make a nice dosa with it. And typically, like she said in homes, so it's you have a spice mix, a chutney, you put some rice flour in it, and you pan fry it.
The whole idea in the home cooking has been to keep the wastage to minimum. So even if it is a vegetable, like if you look at banana, right? They use the stem, the flower, the fruit, the leaf is used for eating. So they go to the extent that they can go, right? And even the outside bits they make something out of it, like a
and all those are tasty, not like you just don't want to waste it. You have to cook. No, all those are good.
Very tasty,
yeah,
correct.
Very tasty, yeah.
And many of them are very healthy too.
Correct.
So I'm so happy to see that you're trying to do this, and I'm sure people should just know and they will.
This is fun. It's the opener, but
Yeah. That is being wood, the good old days.
Correct. Good to see you.
Cheers. So you also are you learning
Nice
to
and
cook?
warming.
simple cooking food. It's not too heavy, not masaledar, no garam masala. There's coconut, gadge chili, and a little bit of tamarind. And the masala is ready. The tadka will be of esophageal.
That's why it's called.
So hinga, udda. Hinga is asafoetida, of course, and udda is water.
Udda is water. We call it human in Konkani. Whereas for non-veg dishes, it goes very well when there's prawn or lady fish.
So we can do the batatechi umman, which is a hinga udda. But if you want to try fish, even we can do a fish as
We will do the batata.
batata.
It's got potato and green peas. Yeah, green peas.
So that is our main course.
Starters, I told you the podi, whatever podis are ready to do, and sanna polo. And I'm not too sure if you've heard of dali thoye. It's
Dali thoye,
Yes.
the lentils, yeah.
dali thoye rice and sanna polo is a great combination actually. So hinga udda you can have it with appam, neem dosa, or with white rice.
You don't eat red rice, is it? Or
We do. But only this particular dish, right? I personally like it with white rice. And when I speak to my customers, what I've observed is even they like it with steamed rice than with the boiled rice. There's a regular fish curry, and since there's a little bit of spice in that, it goes well with it.
When you take red rice, boiled rice, that rice has its own earthy flavor. So I think that tends to tone down the delicate, the subtlety of the dish from the asafoetida and the coconut oil, the tempering that's done at the end. No? Really tasty. So this is called a sanna polo. This is a small dosa.
Thank you. What is this? Oh, banana. Nice.
So this is a methi. Yeah.
It's got the sweetness, the crispness, the spice. That's very nice.
My favorite was a fagil,
Yeah.
teasel gourd. I have one.
I'm just worried I'm overdoing this.
No, not at all.
I want to taste everything.
I think I'll have, the less is more.
And with dal, if you like to say Kripal, you get the tempering right.
That's it. So just finished lunch with Sriram. Other than the initial conversation that we had and some of the food shots, wasn't able to get too much because we had a few people on the table, and therefore it was a bit of a challenge to kind of film some of it. But you have to take a look at the GSB meal video that I've done on the Lighthouse, where I took a couple of my other friends, the doctors, to a GSB lunch there. So some of the dishes that we tasted were common. But of course today the focus was only vegetarian. And so I'm glad that Sriram was able to taste them, and he also had some favorites like the fagil podi, which is made with the teasel gourd, the hinga uda with the batata and the peas. They call it the humman. And I think he also enjoyed the dessert that we did at the end, which was something similar to a ragi halwa. I think they call it the ragi mani here. So yes, so I'm happy that Sriram was able to taste some of these dishes and get back to the office, and there are a bunch of things that are waiting for me. So when you're filming, you may be out at lunch capturing a vlog, but then you got to go back and look at the footage and put it all together. So I think I'm going to close this vlog here. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Not too much from a meal perspective, but I hope you enjoyed the conversation that happened on the table. And because that's what I enjoyed the most, in addition to those few dishes that we spoke about. So if you like this vlog, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to share it, do share it. If you haven't subscribed here yet, please do subscribe. This is the second channel, the Kripal Amanna Vlogs channel. This isn't the Food Lovers TV channel, so you may have subscribed there, but it's important that you subscribe here as well, because it helps the channel and the work that we do. So that's it for this one. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.